Hey everyone, Anders here with another video. We are going to be going over the recent live stream from the AION 2 developers which took place earlier today. First, the Dimensional Rift will now be flagged PvP, similar to Black Desert. You're now at default PvE status at all times. You can flag to PvP mode at any time with a 70-minute cooldown. You cannot, however, go into the Rift and swap status. If you go into a Rift with PvE mode on, you stay as PvE for the duration of the hour you're in that Rift, regardless of the cooldown of your PvP flag status. They are also reducing the cooldown of Rifts as well. It used to be every 4 hours, and now it is every 3 hours to give us more chances to go in. They're also increasing the Rift tickets to 400 from 200, which was a much needed change for especially populated servers where it would be difficult to even enter Rifts at times. Almost impossible to go in on the weekends. Adding PvP flagging was kind of necessary, I think, because the gap difference between early progression and mid-progression players is just too large right now. When you go into a Rift, more than likely you'll have assassins camping sealed dungeon entrances, or groups will be actively hunting you. So if the average gear right now is 2.1 to 2.5k and you are 1.3k right out of the story, and having done maybe half the sealed dungeons available, maybe half the outposts in your map, you're gonna have a bad time in Rift, more than likely. I liked how it worked personally. I didn't have an issue with it, but I don't see how casual players progress if they struggle to first get into a Rift and then struggle to then do any content once they're there. It sort of made PvP mandatory, which was a big complaint I saw amongst some users on the Korean forums. Abyss Monolith, which is the collectible feather tokens monolith inside Abyss, will have their Empyrean Lord bonuses moved to the normal monolith. It will, however, keep those PvP specific stat boosts. Because of this, they have reverted the nerf to stat bonuses from the Abyss Monolith now that it is on the PvE monolith. Empyrean Lord stats were called like freedom, death, life. These are all stats that affect individual substats like your max health, crit, accuracy, and so on. This change effectively makes them no longer tied to the PvP Abyss map. I didn't think it was too bad collecting them, but I guess in servers where the balance maybe is shifting to one faction, and one faction like maybe Asmodean or Elios is becoming more dominant, it can be a struggle to not only grind in Abyss, but collecting these feathers for those stats. Good change overall, I think. That doesn't really affect PvP much unless you were hunting low-geared players for points in Abyss. Speaking of feathers, collectible feather sync between alts on the same server is coming on the 17th of December. Every feather you collect will now give you 4 tokens, meaning you only need to collect 140 feathers instead of 560. So if you already collected all of these feathers, you can extract the remaining feathers for a total of 84,000 enhancement stones. However, this can only be done once per server. 3-star conquest dungeons, Transcendence, Raid, and Trials, all that content has been nerfed. 10 Odal energy compensation will be given out. I think it should have been already sent out. They will also give out Odal energy throughout the weekend. Abyss Point monster cap is changing from the daily 25,000 to a weekly 200,000. For PvP content, it is 200,000 weekly as well. The cap for the season is now 2.5 million Abyss points instead of 1 million. 8 weeks, it will be 3.2 million cap, but for 6 weeks, they will make it a cap of 2.5 million to reduce burnout. Abyss ranking has no cap. Tomorrow's patch will bring balance changes to Elementalist. Its core mechanics are being changed. We don't know much more than that, but they say that every week from now on, we'll focus on a class to improve. Classes are getting 5% buff to their Tenacity Survival passive. Shugo event abuse is being addressed by setting a minimum point system. Whomever reaches the point first is considered higher rank, even if you all have the same amount of points. This was happening almost all the time in Taiwan server before I left a couple of days ago. You would simply go to the first island, stay there for the event duration. Everyone gets rank 1. Even if someone goes on to do it, rank 2 rewards are the same. This was happening on 3 or 4 Shugo games that you can do this with. This was definitely something they needed to address. You can also now buy more resurrection stones with Kina if you have the subscription, 14 instead of 7 per week now. You can turn off the map open and close animation. Party UI application in expeditions and other content is being improved. You can see class and item level for members that have applied more easily. A deletion bug was apparently fixed for rank 1 Abyss players. Party contribution has also changed in dungeons. In order to be able to open condensed cubes in dungeons, you need to contribute a minimum amount of damage. This might be to fight busing parties, but we'll see, because they did clarify this does not affect clerics that much. If you heal as normal, you should be fine, so I'm not sure what the damage threshold is. This might be just trying to prevent a certain exploit from happening, I'm not sure. They addressed how some players were innocently banned in the last ban wave. They unbanned everyone who had less than 5 minutes playtime during the Abyss Dungeon bug ban wave. On the 10th of December, they will merge Server Auction House. Large-scale PvP will be getting some optimization. Chat window UI will finally be able to be separated. You will be able to share your map pins in chat, which is useful for invasions. You will be able to drag and drop in the inventory UI, and a Christmas event will also be starting then. Pet collection will now be server-wide for your alts, and the amount needed to level them up has been reduced by 50%, which is a much needed change because the amount of macro users I was seeing just for pet collection was getting very high. Speaking of macros, mouse macro is not being ignored, and there are already players that have been banned using mouse macros. To give you an idea of just how prevalent mouse macro is, class forums on Inven talk about using mouse macro on guides for classes like it's really no big deal. If you get caught using mouse macros from now on, you will be perma-banned. They also said they are increasing the amount of staff working on bot detection. Gathering bots are almost always active right now. I see them all the time, so hopefully they do something about that. Server character creation restrictions are also still being monitored. They're still working on the server transfer system. They admitted they unintentionally nerfed wings from cube, so they will revert it next patch. They are adding target lock for mobile users. Smart Dash or Dash Assist is also being implemented for them as well. They're also looking to reduce daily dungeon entry tickets and instead increasing rewards. Edit UI is coming when PC UI gets released. If you are lower ranked in Abyss, you will get a buff to Abyss point acquisition in the lower Abyss to help you catch up. Currency tab might be coming, but it is a low priority for them right now. The World Boss quest might be changed. Paid skins and pets will not be server-wide and are still character-bound. They want to increase the Abyss Point rewards for the AV8 Arena, and the patch notes for this week's update will go live when maintenance starts later, so expect another video going over the notes on the channel. And that's it for this one. Expect more videos on AION 2 in the channel. Let me know what you think about what they said in today's live stream. Like and sub if you haven't already, and as always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.